I want to walk through some of the latest analysis that we've done from our surveys and also set it in context, a broader context of how households are faring at the moment. And frankly, the story is not that good. And a good place to start, I think, is this article, which actually, from Michael Reed, makes the point that Australian living standards have not increased at all over the past year and are barely higher than they were 10 years ago, which of course is a challenge to Albanese, who's now kicked out the election until May. This is based on analysis from the National Accounts, which showed that gross domestic product per person did increase for the first time in 2 years in the December quarter, as quarterly growth hit a post-pandemic high of 0.6%. But the problem is that despite the uptick last quarter, real income per person is actually slightly lower than a year ago and only 1.5% higher than it was a decade ago. That's the weakest 10 years growth since records began in 1983, according to analysis by the AFR from the ABS data. Interestingly, independent economist Chris Richardson said that the stage 3 tax cuts on July 1 had done less to boost real incomes than he'd originally expected. One of the main reasons is bracket creep, because bracket creep arises because tax thresholds are fixed in dollar terms and not indexed. So as workers' wages increase, a great proportion of their pay is pushed into the highest tax bracket applicable to them, meaning the average tax rate increases over time. Now, it's interesting that CBA economist Gareth Ed says that real household disposable income had picked up over the second half of 2024 because of falling inflation and the income boost from stage 3 tax cuts. But it's important to note that real household disposable income per capita has been through an extraordinary period of weakness due to elevated inflation, rising tax paid as a share of incomes because of bracket creep, and the big lift in interest rates. And in fact, as Jonathan Kearns points out, the only route out of this is to improve productivity, which is actually an interesting challenge, as we'll see, given the mix of jobs and who's paying for them.